Mr. Shankar, our show is more American mainstream based, and what we do at Bollywood USA is we kind of look at how the entertainment world has shrunk, how American music has been influencing Bollywood music, and Bollywood music is influencing American music. What was interesting is you were in a band, jazz band called Fusion. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I was in a jazz fusion band. I am in a jazz fusion band called Shakti, and that is truly, a representation of the music of this world. The musicians in this band are truly international icons. Like one of the best guitarists in the world is there, John McLaughlin. Then there is one of the best percussionists in the world, Ustad Zakir Hussain. Then two great musicians from south of India, mandolin Srinivas and Selva Ganesh, and on the vocals I'm there. So this is a group which we travel a lot all over the world, and this is a kind of original music that we have created, which represents parts of India and parts of different parts of the world. And right now this year, in October, November, we are going to be touring all over Europe. So we are playing about 25 concerts in about 30 days.
Wow.
So, and it's a legendary band with, legendary musicians. So for me, it's a big honor.
Gotcha. Now, we've noticed, at least here in the States, that a lot of international people have been using hip-hop and rap beats. How do you feel about, I know you have a wide variety of palettes of music that you studied.
Yeah.
How do you feel about hip-hop and rap music?
Well, it's wonderful if it's done the right way, because many people back in India or many other places, over here it's the origin of hip-hop and rap now. But when you try to be a wannabe, I think sometimes you fail, sometimes you pass. And I think you should do it with conviction and with knowledge.
Gotcha.
I mean, just rapping and writing anything and just putting down a beat and talking over that is not rap. It's much more deep. It's got content, it's got lyrics, it's got meaning, it's got phrasing, which is very important, which the people who have lived. Now, if you ask somebody else to sing Carnatic music like the way I do, probably they can't.
Right.
Similarly, we cannot rap like the authentic rappers and the hip-hop artists, because they've lived that music and that's inside their system.
Gotcha. Excellent. Can you tell us about some up-and-coming projects that you have in the pipeline?
Well, lots of films and lots of non-film work too. To begin with, our film is releasing now. It's called Bhag Milka Bhag. It's truly a biopic which I think is going to be noticed internationally because it's about a great human being, Milkha Singh, who represented India, and he has put our name on the world map. And it's being directed by Rakesh Mehra, who did a wonderful film called Rang De Basanti and Delhi 6. And the role of Milkha Singh is played by Farhan Akhtar. I think he's a fabulous actor. Then, of course, there are many other films like D-Day and Kill Dil and Two States and 1 by 2. So many films are on there. And secondly, I have my music academy where I'm spending quite some time over there trying to develop the curriculum and get to many people to learn Indian classical music, which I feel is a wonderful. It really strengthens your foundation. So I'm working towards that. And a lot of international collaborations are happening, and Shakti is happening. Back in India, Silk is happening. So too much to do, very little time.
Well, I had the pleasure, and this will be the last question, I had the pleasure of meeting Isan and Loy yesterday. Very down-to-earth people. What is it like collaborating with them? I mean, do you guys, like any family or any group, have your internal feuds, or are they very easy to work with?
Well, when three individuals come together and they are creating something creative that's one piece of music or one song, there are bound to be differences. And I think there should be differences because your differences are your own ideas. Your differences is your own identity, because here we are trying to create something. We're not doing synchronized swimming.
Right.
So I think we need to state our ideas, and we're all strong individuals. So that kind of differences definitely happens. They're all creative differences and healthy creative differences. We fight a lot, but that fight is only so that our song becomes better and better and better. And eventually, I think the song becomes a winner.
Gotcha. And I noticed the Academy is actually online, so in essence, anybody around the world can log on and learn the music, correct?
Absolutely. We have students from 34 countries.
Wow.
And about 20 odd time zones. So our teachers are working around the clock, teaching people from all over the country Indian classical music. So we're really proud of that.
Now, from a teaching perspective, what would advice? I know your children have picked up the family trade and craft, but what advice would you give to a young singer trying to make it to be the next Shankar of Shankar Ihsaan Loy? What advice would you give him, whether he's in California or Texas or wherever this is viewing?
I think what you should do is, music is something that you should first of all understand what is it that you're comfortable with, what is it that you want to do, what is the type of music that comes to you naturally and you're inclined towards, and then keep that as your core competence and work around it. So you can suppose your comfort level lies in, for example, Hindustani classical music.
Sure.
So I think you should learn that and pursue it in great depth.
Okay.
And I mean, learning is very important. Learning does not mean just going to a class. Learning is it happens every moment of the day. You listen, you hear, you see people, you learn, and you keep learning, and then also use your knowledge in that form of music to perform or to sing or to be associated with other forms of music. Use that grammar to be able to address other forms of music.
And one question, one of the students at the local academy said, please ask Mr. Shankar this of Shankar Ihsaan Loy, and I'm glad Balaji is giving me some extra time on this. He said that what is the key to longevity? He said, one thing I like about Mr. Shankar is the longevity. He's been able to do this and sustain over and over. A lot of artists have come, had one or two Hollywood, Bollywood, Mickey Mouse type hits, and then they disappear. Whereas you have sustained over and over and over again. What is the secret to that?
Key to longevity is quality. I think even if a film fails terribly, even if your music does not do well, you should be not ashamed to tell your children that this is the song that I did. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
When they listen to it, it should be of some aesthetic relevance.
Integrity.
So just because your song has failed does not mean the song is bad. Songs fail for various reasons.
Gotcha.
It's not promoted well, it just didn't reach out to people. So I think you should sustain your quality irrespective of the fact whether your song fails or becomes a very big hit. And vice versa, when it becomes a very, very big hit, don't start flying up in the air and start thinking that I'm the best music director in the world. You know?
Stay grounded.
That's where your downfall starts.
Gotcha.
So I think just keep working, and these hits, they come as milestones in your life, which charge your energy and let you move forward.
Any future projects coming up with American or Western artists?
Not as of now.
Yeah. Would you be interested in that?
Of course. We have never put in our energies to catch hold of any agent or come here and set up base here and start looking for work over here, because I think right now we're pretty occupied doing stuff over there. And we did Delhi Safari. It was an animation film which was dubbed in various languages, even all over the world, not only America, Europe, and in German, and France, French, and many other languages. So yeah, if something comes up, we definitely look into it. But right now, we're pretty happy what we're doing.
Okay. And I noticed that you had a chance to work with Herbie Hancock, Stevie Wonder, and some of the elite of the U.S. What was that like? If you can.
Well, it's a dream come true. I mean, who wouldn't like to jam with people like this? The fact that I was the person who was invited from our country to represent my country inside the United Nations is a very big thing for me, and it's a matter of honor and pride that I represented India over there in the middle of all the jazz greats of the world. So I felt so good. And I felt so honored, and I felt that, God has really blessed me.
Mr. Shankar, on behalf of Bollywood USA and AEG International, it was a great pleasure and honor, and thank you for extending this time to us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.